Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest shares the most interesting antique collections, and he says this one is just glorious. We welcome back antique appraiser Gary Germer. Great to see you, Gary.
Thanks you for having me.
Okay, so first of all, tell us about this. Is a Native American collection of jewelry.
Yeah, there was an estate that we're working on, and this is about 20% of her collection.
Wow.
And I pulled out some pieces to talk about that we're going to liquidate for the estate. But she'd been collecting for years that and weaving. She's a textile artist by trade, and so.
So this was her passion?
This was her real passion,
yeah.
was Navajo and Native arts. So.
Wow. Let's start over here and tell me about some of the pieces that we're seeing.
Well, mostly what we have on the table is Navajo and Zuni jewelry. They're the ones who are really the most famous for being silversmiths.
Oh,
and they started in the mid-1800s. Before the 1850, 1860, the native people didn't use silver, but there was a fellow who worked with the Mexican blacksmiths.
Yeah.
He learned blacksmithing first, and then he learned to make the embellishment for the Spanish, because it was all, Southwest was under Spanish control at the time. For the horse halters and stuff, and then learned silversmithing, and he was the first one. They called him the Old Smith, was his nickname. And he has an Indian name, which I don't want to insult the native people watching by trying to pronounce it. But, and so he then taught his family, and that's how it started. And they didn't have necessarily their own silver, so what they would either trade with the Mexican people for silver, or they would use Mexican coins. And they'd beat them down and make it. So they'd make things like he invented the idea of the squash blossom necklace. And we have a whole set here, which is really hard to find. And it was a sign of wealth. It was to show your tradition, and it got quickly embraced by the people. Before this, jewelry would be decorated with, the turquoise was always sacred, but they would decorate with shells and bear claws and needles and things like that. And it was once they met with the white cultures, they could also then start trading for things like coral that you can see added.
Yeah, the coral and the turquoise look stunning together,
yeah,
right? And
the white shells, they would, if you can see this piece, here's the white shells. And would be, they traded with coastal tribes for that.
Yeah.
And so that's how they got their stuff to make it, and then the designs became iconic with the Zuni and the Navajo. The difference between one of the things to look at Zuni and Navajo people used the rough stones, so like this, polished, of course, but they'd use the whole stones, whereas Zunis used to make more things that were more, this is a whole Zuni set here, which I've never seen this much in one set with a belt, pins, earrings, necklaces, the whole thing.
They combined a lot of the stones.
Yeah, and they combined it into a finer,
like this.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, into a finer designs that they could build with it. And so if you're looking to collect, that's some of the things to look for. You can kind of, as a quick glance, this is a Zuni, this is not, it's just a matter of your personal taste, which ones you like better.
So let me ask you this, something like this, when you saw this, how much, when you go to settle the estate, how much would something like this incredible necklace be worth?
This is an outstanding piece.
Yeah.
The stones, the bracelet, and the earrings all together. And one of the things I need to do to finish pricing it is that you can find out which mine that the different turquoises came from.
You can, okay.
Yeah, and so it's by the matrix and the color. I don't know it well enough off the top of my head. That's fine.
Okay.
But a set like that is probably in the $3,000 range.
Wow.
$3,000 to $4,000 range.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then, of course, in the 1970s, Ralph Lauren popularized it all over again. And so the conch shell, or the conch belt with the jeans and the white linen shirt was popular then. Another trend that's happening is I'm getting a lot of people buying bolo ties.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought they kind of went out, but we sell bolo ties. People come specifically looking. I must have 30. These are 3 of the nicer ones. There's another little blossom and then a hummingbird, which are also very, very spiritual to the native people.
Yeah. Talk to me about the bracelet over here, and then it's all the silver necklaces that we're seeing.
Well, this kind of helps show the matrix. They call the gray spot in there the natural stone. And when you're looking at turquoise, it can be brittle. So when you look at it, usually what you find, it's been reinforced. About 3% of the jewelry will be the actual natural. Otherwise, they put a matrix in it or a thing to solidify it, and then it can be polished and it'll last longer. Otherwise, it tends to break. And then you don't want to get fake. But if you saw fake jewelry dyed fake next to it, it would be no comparison.
You'd know the difference.
Yeah, once you start looking, and so
yeah,
and so of course there are always very, very subtle pieces here, you know.
Yeah,
but
that's
showing your wealth.
Like, tell me about something like this. This is.
Well, this is more of a modern. So you get the idea of these, which were their fetish necklaces. The little birds and stuff were good luck charms type of a thing, and the he-she which is the round discs, were always ongoing popular design. And this is a take on that. And this is probably 1980s, 1990s.
Okay.
But what's happening is you'll see that the jewelry has evolved. You have the real traditional pieces that are really traditional, and then there's a play off of it. So that's something new. These here are Pacific Northwest. These are the only ones here that I could find that were Pacific Northwest. So you got like a frog, and it's inlaid with abalone shell. You see it's decorated on all sides and stuff.
Incredible work.
It's just fun. I mean, I have the best job in the world.
Yes,
people give me boxfuls of this, and hey, what is it, Gary? And we get to play with it.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much,
Thanks,
Gary. I
Ellen.
appreciate it. We'll put your information on our website at k2.com. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.